Welcome everybody to Nerd School's Film Podcast. My name is Brian Stuffy. I'm your host, and I'm joined by my co-host, Matt Lomner.
Hey! No.
This is episode 47. Today is July 17th, 2016. Today, we are going to be reviewing the new Ghostbusters and doing the typical rundown. Let's begin with the news. Not much news. Comic-Con is just around the corner, so they released some exclusive photos that I will disclose right now on the show, on my phone. First, they released an image from the It reboot, with Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. Those people who can't see it. There we go. I'm not really that excited for this It reboot, but I do like this photo. It looks very cool, and it looks like it's going to give me nightmares for life.
I mean, it looks creepy. I like that.
Then we got a photo from Khan's Skull Island. There's a big skull behind it, and, obviously. There's John Goodman in the background, and then John C. Reilly, then the two leads, Tom Hiddleston and Brie Larson.
The shot looks very good and interesting.
Then we got some photos released from Wonder Woman. Photo number 1. Photo number 2. Photo number 3 of her and Chris Pine. And photo number 4, well, this is just a behind-the-scenes photo of her and director Patty Jenkins.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Then we got some photos from the Dark Tower, just character photos. Best one of Roland, played by Idris Elba. And then there's one supposedly of McConaughey somewhere. Well, that's him on the cover looking very stoic.
Interested to see how that movie turns out.
And then some photo of Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch in a uniform.
Which looks really good.
Trailers. Let's start off with the trailer for Lovin'. Now, this is the new film from director Jeff Nichols. He directed Take Shelter, Mud, and this year's Midnight Special. This film stars Joel Edgerton and Ruth Negga. That's how you pronounce the name. Interracial couple, trouble stuff. Looks fantastic. Cried during the trailer. Looks amazing. Oscar consideration for both Jeff Nichols and Joel Edgerton, and maybe Ruth Negga. It looks great. I love Take Shelter. Mud's great. Haven't seen Midnight Special yet. Heard good things, just didn't get around to seeing it. And this trailer looks great. Looks heartbreaking. Looks like a really compelling story, and it looks like a true elite, huge contender for the Oscars. Cannot wait to see this movie when it comes out.
When I first was watching the trailer, I was like, "What is this like? What type of movie is this? Like a romance?" But then when I saw the whole wedding thing and heard DC, and I saw the era and what was going on, and I was like, "Oh, I've heard of this case before." If people don't know what the Loving case is, it is the case of that kind of introduced and legalized separate, race marriage in a way, and it's a really interesting story, especially that the trailer showed how heartbreaking it could be, and it looks really good. I'm interested because I've heard of it, and I want to know more about that case.
Next trailer, Boo and Madea Halloween. Oh, right. If you're watching on YouTube and you want an audio version of this podcast, link will be in the description below. If you're listening on Spreaker or iTunes, you want a video version, link will be in the description below. I just gave the finger to this Boo, Madea, Halloween. Fuck this.
Certified by Tyler Perry himself. I don't care. I really just don't care at all about this movie.
Next trailer, A Monster Calls. Now, this is from J.A. Boyona. He is the guy that directed The Impossible, and he will be helming Jurassic World 2. Good trailer. I like it. I like the concept. I like the visuals. I like the cast. You got Felicity Jones. You got Sigourney Weaver, and then you got Liam Neeson. And it looks very cool. It looks very mystical. It looks like kind of a toned down version of looks like Lord of the Rings meets
the Pan's Labyrinth,
Nope.
No.
Maybe. And it looks pretty good. I cannot wait to see this. This also looks like a damn good, possibly Oscar contender type of film.
It looks really interesting about the whole, because it's all about fear and stuff, and they're telling through the trailer and seeing who Liam Neeson is. I'm not going to say who he is, but it's really interesting, especially with Sigourney Weaver and Felicity Jones. It's a really good cast, and it looks kind of cool in a way, of how they deal with the fear element of it.
Next trailer, what was that one called? Rules Don't Apply. This is directed by Warren Beatty, the great Warren Beatty, and stars him as Howard Hughes, and then it's like a romantic comedy type of thing. This doesn't really look interesting to me, but I like the talent involved. I don't really think we needed another Howard Hughes film because after The Incredible Aviator, I don't think we need a Howard Hughes movie, and I think Warren Beatty might be too old to play him. This wasn't my cup of tea. I mean, I like the cast in it. Got Matthew Broderick, Alden Ehrenreich, who's obviously playing young Han Solo, Lily Collins, Annette Bening, a lot of other people, Martin Sheen. Good cast, good director. I mean, as a film, it doesn't look that great. As a trailer, it was bleh. And yeah, I'm just meh. It's fine.
I was getting My Week with Marilyn vibes from the trailer because the way it's filmed and the time period it's set in. It looks really, I'll say that it looks very accurate to the time period. It's portraying around the 1950s, 60s. But, I mean, it's interesting. I want to see how it comes out, how it does, but I am semi-interested in it just because it's about Howard Hughes, and Howard Hughes is a crazy man. Let's just say it at that.
Yeah, you never even saw The Aviator. I feel ashamed. And the last trailer we're going to be talking about is a trailer that just, got to me so much because of the talent and the fact that it doesn't spoil what the movie's about. It has a great, musical vibe to it. It takes place in LA. Cannot wait for it. This trailer is for a movie called La La Land. Now, if you guys do not know what this movie is, it stars Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. It is directed by Damien Chazelle, the writer and director of Whiplash. And that already there got me excited because Whiplash was my favorite film in 2014. It's my second favorite film of the decade so far, and it's in my top 20 favorite films of all time now. Whiplash was just an incredible experience in the movies that just I couldn't even believe that existed. And Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone have worked together twice. They worked together in Crazy Stupid Love, which is a great film, and then they worked together in Gangsta Squad, which is And this movie looks absolutely fantastic. I have no idea what it's about, and I have an idea of what it's about. I do know what it's about, but I don't want to say anything for people who haven't looked at the plot. And all I can say is that, first of all, Ryan Gosling could sing beautifully, so God bless you, sir. I love you to death, and you could sing very well, and he apparently has a band, so that's pretty cool. And Emma Stone's also really talented. She was in Cabaret last year. Didn't get to see her in Cabaret, which upsets me, but hey, I still love her, and I love when these two work together. They have great chemistry together, and this movie looks absolutely delightful. The shots are really good, particularly the shot when they're in the planetarium, then they fly up and then they start dancing. The music sounds good. The City of Stars, I tried to buy it on iTunes, but I don't have any money on iTunes, so sorry. And, anything Damien Chazelle does, I'm always excited for. He did write 10 Cloverfield Lane, and 10 Cloverfield Lane was fucking dope. So, I'm really looking forward to La La Land. It's definitely my most anticipated film of December, excluding Rogue One, because, listen, I'm excited for Rogue One, but La La Land's more important to me because, as a film lover, that's more important to me. So, La La Land, easily the best trailer of the week. The best trailer, I think, so far this month. And, if you guys have not seen this trailer, please do yourself a favor and check it out because it is absolutely spectacular.
I should just get this out of the way before discussing this movie. I am not a big, person in the genre of the whole musical. Now, before even this trailer was released, I was really interested still, even though this is not my genre, because of the director and the talent behind this movie. When I saw the trailer, as soon as it came out, actually, I watched it. I was like, this looks beautiful, and it's got some of those, like, surreal in it. It's kind of surreal, the trailer. And it's interesting, because you don't really see that in a lot of, like, musicals, especially about, like, love and romance. And I'm very interested to see how this comes out, especially, I freaking heard this project as far back as when Fantastic Four came out after, because of the news that happened.
Yes.
But I'm just interested. I want to see how it comes out, because the music's great. I mean, is the plot going to be... Like, see, this is the only problem. Like, is the plot going to be, like, a simple one, or is it going to be complex? Which I think it could be complex because of some of the surreal nature of it, but I still think that it looks really good, regardless.
It looks great. It does not look good. It looks great. It looks great. Says the guy who loves Whiplash. And now we'll talk about the Rogue One featurette. So Star Wars Celebration is going on right now. First of all, Lucasfilm, I'm really disappointed in you guys. I mean, listen, as a Star Wars fan, I'm a little upset we didn't get a trailer for Rogue One. But then again, the movie doesn't come out for 6 more months. So I'm able to wait at least maybe a few more months for a trailer. But when you do say a trailer is going to come out, you need to release the trailer, not hiding it from us. But I will say this featurette was pretty damn cool. And I'm really like I said before, I am really looking forward to Rogue One a lot. And you can tell that Gareth Edwards is putting a lot into this. Like, he says, like, oh, this Star Wars is my favorite movie, but even when you make a movie related to your favorite movie, you can't try to, like, top it or anything. You can't try to pay too much homage to it. So this is going to be its own thing. Gareth Edwards has said numerous times this is going to be a war film. It looks like a war film. I'm telling you right now, this movie is going to be very cool in the war aspect. There's a lot of tracking shots, lots of good wide angles and stuff. I mean, the cast looks like they're going to do great. But I'm really excited for the movie, and the featurette was pretty darn cool. The practical effects, the aliens look cool, particularly the one that was like doing a cackle and laugh. That was pretty awesome. And I really like the featurette. I would say that this featurette was slightly better than the one we had last year for The Force Awakens, because that one was kind of like, oh, hey, we're back making this, but this is its own thing, so that's pretty amazing. I wanted a trailer, but I'm able to wait a few months for another trailer. I'm totally fine with waiting. That's because this isn't, like I said, La La Land to me is my most anticipated film of December. Listen, Rogue One's going to be the biggest blockbuster of December, probably for the rest of the year, after Suicide Squad comes out. I can tell you that right now. And I'm just excited, and hey, listen, I know a lot of people don't consider Felicity Jones sexy, but when Jyn Erso's running with the Death Star plans in her hand, in that really big fucking hard drive, whatever the fuck that thing is, it's supposed to be like old school. It's not 2016, the Star Wars world, I mean, unless if it is, I don't know. I don't follow the timeline of those films, I just know the order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's it, the end. But yes, great featurette, very, very cool. I really like it a lot. What did you think of the featurette?
I think that it was pretty great because it showed off like a lot of things that we haven't seen yet, but nothing to a point to where we understand really what's going on.
But really, the plot, so all they're trying to do is steal the Death Star plans. Yeah. That's all they're doing in this movie, and
it's just there's so much in it. You're like, there's gonna be more to it probably because like we're seeing things from regular, rebels. We see Imperials. We see some dudes beating up people with sticks and staffs.
Yeah, Donnie Yen.
Yeah, and like we're like, what's going on here? What's Forrest Whitaker and all this? And it's like it's interesting because they take such a simple premise and expand it and make it super complex. And it's cool because in the trailer they give us some more like context of what's going on. But they're still not to a point where they're like, oh yeah, this is what's going to happen. It's still very minuscule that we know, and it's good because we want to be surprised what happens in this movie.
Of course.
And also the biggest thing that it looks like the cast was having fun, with the movie.
Of course, Star Wars.
Yeah, like everybody was smiling and laughing. It was a great featurette because it even made me laugh a little bit too. Some of it
because of the crackling little tiny fucking
alien. Rocket Raccoon in the Star Wars universe.
Yep.
Yeah, It looks great.
Yep, so now we're going to get to the Blu-ray releases. If you guys were wondering why I looked upset, I gave him 2 Blu-ray releases that came out this week, and he didn't even watch them, which really pisses me off, because I wanted to just hear his thoughts on camera so that I'm able to look back and remember what he thought of these 2 films. So I guess I have to take over the Blu-ray release topic this week. First up, Allegiant. Skip this piece of absolute fucking shit. I personally am not a fan of these Divergent films. I know there are people out there who do like them. I didn't care for the first one. The second one was really boring, and this one was just so... I didn't think this film would be as bad as it turned out to be. It was so slow. It was so tired. Like, it was so cliche, so predictable. I saw everything coming. There was only one good fight scene on a plane or train or something with 4. It looked really cool. And Shailene Woodley, as usual, was great in the movie. But it was so boring and generic. I'm not looking forward to what they're going to do with the end of the series. I honestly don't give a slight shit. I'm going to say skip Allegiant. If you're a fan, rent it. Just be cautious, because there are people I know who were fans of the first 2 films that did not like this one. Next up, Green Room. Now, this film, I really liked it a lot. And I bought the movie. I did buy it, and I haven't watched it yet. I haven't rewatched it again, and I really wanted to, but I wanted him to watch it because I really wanted to know his thoughts, because this seems like a movie that he would like, and I really just wanted him to say his thoughts. But of course, you know, for people who've stuck around for this show for months, people know, bastard. Yeah, you're lazy as fuck, and you failed. You really failed the nerdy scorers out there. Not just me, a nerdy scorer, but the nerdy scorers out there who were dependent on you to watch either one of the 2 films that I'm going to bring up next. Just one. At least one. At least one. It didn't have to be the one that I loved more than this one, but if it was this one, it would have been fine. I would have been happy because I wanted to know what you thought of it, but no, I really liked it. It was a haunting, engaging, gripping thriller. Obviously, this was one of the last films from Anton Yelchin, and he's great in the movie, but Patrick Stewart is the one who steals the entire movie. It's beautifully shot, terrifically acted, really well edited, although it has a slow burn to it, which was my only flaw with it, but I really liked it. I would say buy it, but it is a very cautious rental. This movie is not for everybody, so you have to be cautious when watching this movie. This is a movie that's going to be so hit or miss with everybody, you won't know what to expect when you see Green Room, and it might put a tear to your eye if you haven't seen The Fear because of Anton Yelchin. Thinking about when I picked it up at Best Buy, it certainly did put a tear in my eye, and I'll have a tear in my eye in 4 days when we go see Star Trek Beyond. So that's going to be deep. And the last Blu-ray release is Everybody Wants Some. Now, this was an awesome film. This is one of my favorite films of the year. It's in my top 5 right now as we speak. And I rewatched it, I think, about 4 times before I loaned it to him, because, I'm telling you guys right now, I think it's like my 3rd favorite film of the year so far. And it was engaging, it was funny, it was heartwarming, great soundtrack, great direction by Linklater, great writing by him as well, great performances from everybody. The scene stealer was Glenn Powell. I really wanted to get at his perspective on this movie too, because I was going to be like, oh, who's your favorite character? Because I feel like I don't know who Matt would pick, but I feel like he would also pick Glenn Powell. But no, Everybody Wants Some. Great film. Spiritual successor to Dazed and Confused. Just honestly perfect. You don't have to watch Dazed and Confused to appreciate this movie. If you do see Dazed and Confused, definitely consider watching this movie afterwards. I'm going to say this is also a buy. This is a buy. I don't care what people say. This is a buy. This is a buy from me. What do you have to say for yourself for not watching either one of these movies?
I can't say anything.
Well, now you need to watch them, and then maybe next week you could give your mini reviews on them.
Yes.
Please. I'm begging you.
I have a couple mini reviews I still wasn't on last week to do, remember?
Alright, fine. Before we get to our Ghostbusters review, go ahead. Give your mini reviews on Mike and Dave and Secret Life of Pets.
Well, I saw both of them in the same day, these movies. Later on, I saw Secret Life of Pets. Quickly, I would say Mike and Dave, fun movie. It wasn't amazing, but I enjoyed it. I had a fun time. I would say if you have nothing else you want to go see and you want to just see a fun comedy, you know what you're getting into, Mike and Dave's a great movie for that, and I would give it a B-. Now, Secret Life of Pets, on the other hand, I had a completely different opinion from Brian here because of what I heard. I actually I didn't enjoy it at all, Secret Life of Pets. It didn't really make me laugh that much. I mean, I thought all the technically it was great. I thought the movie, the voice casting was great and all that. Like everything, the animation, everything like behind the camera was great, but it's just nothing. Just I don't know. It just didn't click for me. The comedy it didn't work. It was too kid centered, and it just I don't know. Didn't get me, and I probably give that like a C-.
Alright, so now let's get to probably the most controversial review for the entire show's run. Definitely going to be very controversial. Going to be the most polarizing review. And going into this movie, alright, it's Ghostbusters, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Ghostbusters. So before we give our background on the original film, let's just say this right now. I knew going into this movie that it would be very polarizing by critics and audiences. However, I did not think it would be more polarizing than Batman v Superman. I thought Batman v Superman would stick to being the most polarizing film for the remainder of the year. But this movie came out, this is more polarizing than Batman v Superman, and I can tell you that right now. So, alright, so let's give a background on the original film. We rewatched the original film last week before we went to go to a screening for this movie in New York City. 3D, Q&A, Katie DePaul, the co-screenwriter was there. I met her. She's adorable as fuck. She wishes me luck in college. She's a sweet gal. Love ya. And, alright, so I love the original. It's one of my favorite films of all time. And it's funny. It has the great dry humor from all the actors, all the leads, particularly Bill Murray. And, I enjoy it a lot. It's one of my childhood favorites, and I love the original Ghostbusters.
I freaking grew up with Ghostbusters as well. Like, I think I remember I first watched it when I was like 6 or 7. Like, I was really young when I watched that movie, and I still remember it kind of terrified me a little bit as a kid. But obviously as I grew up, I was like, the movie's funny. It's great. Freaking. The original cast of that movie is irreplaceable. You can never, ever replace them. And
also, fun fact, 2 years ago, we went to go see the movie in the theater, which was also pretty cool.
Which was the first time I've seen in a long time, actually.
And the first time that Nathan ever saw the movie. So, I mean, that was pretty awesome. And I was really fat then, by the way. Like,
he wasn't that bad.
Compared to you. Sorry. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I don't mean to sound rude.
But when I heard about the Ghostbusters.
Well, wait, but like, continue. And remember the text. Like, well, the thing is, since we live in Jersey, we have to take the train to the city. Yeah. I went to go find a parking space, or I should get our tickets and then come back. And I come back. I didn't have my phone with me, and I should have brought my phone because just like, what if I got into a car accident? Then how am I going to get in touch with these guys? Yeah. But here's what I will say. He told me, well, I got a text from Shane, who saw the movie with us, and he was like, oh, the movie's so cheesy and everything. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I said, okay, you have to admit, all right? This is not because the movie was supposed to be cheesy. It was not. I'm just saying that nowadays, when you look at it, you're like, there's some cheese because of how old it is. But, it's just because of how old it is. It's not what the movie's fault.
So what you're saying is, like, for a movie like The Godfather, because that's, like, 44 years old, it's cheesy?
That movie is not cheesy. That's a super serious movie, though. That's why.
In my eyes, it is, but in your eyes, it's super cheesy. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Calm down, guys. Of course.
We're not going to fight over if Ghostbusters is cheesy or not.
All right. So expectations for this movie. When they announced the reboot many, many years ago, technically 2 years ago, I was curious. I was very curious about it because I'm like, let's see who is involved with it. They announced that Paul Feig was going to direct it. Now, I like pretty much all the films that Paul Feig has directed before this. I love Bridesmaids. I think it's one of the best comedies of this decade so far, and probably one of the best comedies of the last 10 years. Like, that comedy really changed the chick flick genre, like, really a lot. Then 2 years later, we got The Heat. I like The Heat. I don't love it. I enjoy it. Then last year, we got Spy. Spy was critically acclaimed. I liked it. I don't get the love for it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. But I didn't love it that much. And I feel bad because I love everyone in it. Jason Statham was the scene stealer in that movie, of course. And, then they announced the 4 people. Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, Melissa McCarthy, and Leslie Jones. I'm like, okay, all 4 of these women are talented. Melissa McCarthy is really great when she's with Paul Feig. She was great in Bridesmaids. Let's not forget this. Paul Feig did lead her to an Oscar nomination for Bridesmaids. Let's not forget that. Okay, let's not forget that Paul Feig directed an Oscar-nominated performance in Melissa McCarthy. Let's not forget about that.
Like his first movie was?
No, he did Freaks and Geeks. That was his first big day in this world. That's not a movie, but that's a TV show. Bridesmaids was his first big film, but it wasn't his first film.
I see.
His first film, I don't really remember. I'll have to look that up later on. I probably should have done research. Then she was good in The Heat, and she was great in Spy. Kristen Wiig obviously worked in Bridesmaids. She also co-wrote that film. Paul Feig did not write that film. And that's great. Kate McKinnon, easily one of the best things about SNL right now. Her impressions of Ellen, Justin Bieber, Hillary Clinton. They're all, awesome. She is absolutely hilarious. She is an absolute delight. And Leslie Jones is funny as hell for her loud yelling. I love her to death. And the trailers were crappy. The marketing sucked. And generally with Paul Feig's films, the marketing isn't really that par. It's not on par. So I was hopeful going into this movie. I went with mad expectations, so I was just hoping going into this movie that this would be at least a decent film. Go ahead.
All right. Well, let's talk about Paul Feig first, from my experience.
Go ahead.
The first movie that I watched was The Heat, and I really liked that movie. And I think it's a very funny movie. I enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite buddy cop movies. And then I watched Bridesmaids, which that movie, personally, to me, just personally, I'm not dissing Bridesmaids. Bridesmaids is a great movie, but personally, I didn't like it as much as I like The Heat.
Because The Heat is the more funny movie. Mm-hmm. Because Bridesmaids, towards the later act of the movie, does get very serious. So
yeah, but
and you didn't see Spy.
No, I didn't. Well, I watched bits and pieces,
but you haven't seen it fully.
Fully, no. Yeah, I've seen the beginning, with the whole making fun of James Bond, basically, in the beginning.
Yeah. What about the scene where she's trying to fire the lawnmower? Did you see that scene?
No.
Oh, dude, that scene is so fucking funny. Because the lawnmower guy is saying, she's like, the lawnmower over there. And it's really funny.
It's funny because it's that movie is probably made for me. Cause I like.
Oh, yeah, huge Bond fan right here. This is his kind of movie.
I should watch it.
His kind of movie.
But when I heard about the Ghostbusters reboot, I was like, you know what, makes sense, because Harold Ramis, what happened to him, and then you can't really, and I was talking, throughout the week I was talking to my mom about this, think about this and this, and I'm like,
well, the thing is, what they could have done, and I don't know if I would have been fine with it, to be quite honest, the movie would have began with a funeral of Egon.
See, that's what I was thinking.
And they would have gone older, and then they would have told these women to basically be the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that's literally what me, you, and Shane were all thinking about what it would be originally. Either
it could have been that, but I'm kind of glad it didn't do that.
Yeah.
Part of me's glad, and then the part of me's it could have done that.
Well, I mean, and again, if we want to bring up, we'll talk about the whole writing.
We'll bring that up later on.
But, when I was thinking, I was thinking of different ways they could write off Egon, he got trapped a parallel dimension, or he could have just left because he's seen shit or something, Or he got old and he retired. I don't know, something like that. And then there'd be a wake-up call, we got to retire too and get some people, to take over, and that would have happened. But the whole, though, as a whole, I was like, I can understand why they would reboot it. It doesn't, bother me that they tried to reboot it. Mm-hmm. Because of how old it is. And
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then what your thoughts on the marketing?
And the marketing, first trailer was crap. The first trailer was, fucking bad. It really, they showed funny stuff, but it didn't mesh. Didn't mesh well what they showed.
Not in the trailer.
Not in the trailers.
Not in the trailer.
Not in the trailers. Because it's the way they cut it.
Yes.
The second trailer was a little bit funnier. It was better. And the international trailer as well after to that.
Yeah.
Was better.
Yeah.
But still, though, it was, it's still meh.
Yeah.
So, basically then we waited, and now...
Yeah, now we're here, so let's break down what happened. So on Monday, at the SVA Theater in New York City, we were invited to a special screening of Ghostbusters. Me, him, and Shane.
Yes.
And now, me and him said, we were both hopeful. Shane was dreading this movie going into it. We can tell you that right now. And he was like, well, I'm at least hoping for something decent. We all knew that this movie wouldn't top the original. We knew it wouldn't be on the same level as the original. We knew that going into it. So we waited for about an hour online. They wouldn't let us in until about 6:30. The movie started at 7. We saw it on Adobe 3D, and we'll get to the 3D later on. Then afterwards, there was a Q&A presented by the Academy with screenwriter Katie DePaul, who, like I said, I met. She's awesome. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you can see my photo there.
Who also co-wrote The Heat, we should also mention.
Yeah, she wrote The Heat. Paul Feig did not write The Heat, which I thought he did, and she wrote many episodes of Parks and Recreation. I told her she's one of my inspirations when it comes to up-and-coming writers. There's really not a lot of female screenwriters, which really, as a male, that pisses me off, and I can tell you that right now. And
so much triggering.
So much triggering. And everyone's like, oh my god, just get to the fucking review already. Just get to the goddamn review already. Well, if you saw my video review, you kind of know how I feel, but how does Matt feel? So I'll say this right now. Overall, I understand where some people may be coming from by not enjoying this film that much. For me, I personally was surprised. I liked the new Ghostbusters. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I was entertained. But I don't think by any means it's a great movie, and I don't think by any means it's a horrible movie either. So, that's all I want to say. I liked it, but I did not love it. So, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, the original Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, what did you think of the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot?
I actually fucking... perfect timing.
The suspense.
Opening it up.
This is what happens when you record in the basement, ladies and gentlemen. And all of a sudden, just when Matt's about to say if he liked it or not, they tell you that the washer or the dryer or whatever the fuck that thing is, I don't know.
The washer dryer thing.
Whatever that thing is.
The amalgamation of washer dryer.
Sit down.
Oh.
Alright, Matt. Without any interruptions, what did you think of the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot? You personally...
I actually liked it.
Okay. So yeah, we're probably two of the only 4 people on this earth who actually like this movie, and Shane actually, to his surprise, liked the movie as well.
Who else went to go see it?
What?
Who else are you including in that? Because there's 3 of us.
My parents.
Oh, they did? Well, technically 5. All
Well,
right.
my mom really liked it. My dad thought it was fine.
Nah, all right.
So so yeah, let's get real and break this movie down with some nerdyisms. Nerdisms. Nerdism. I'm going to try to fix that. But don't worry about it. Next week it'll be fine. So let's start with the direction.
Fuck you! You stupid. Okay, it's the frickin' dryer then. Alrighty. Piece of shit dryer.
While Matt fixes that, I need to get a drink because I'm going to be talking about this movie a lot, and I might yell a lot to the trolls. So please excuse me.
I'll be right back. Actually, I need to go figure this out. There we go.
Hello, boys. I'm back. Oh shit.
Remember, you're not a ghost. You can't go through walls.
Sit down. To quote Biff from Back to the Future 2, sit down! Okay, let's start with the directing. Now, when Paul Feig tries to do his own take with the movie, it's great. It's awesome. I wasn't bored throughout the movie, which was a good thing. His comedy style, when it hits, it hits. When it doesn't, it fails. But his direction is good. It's probably my least favorite film of his that he's directed out of the 4 films that we brought up. It's probably my least favorite one. But that being said, it is still well directed, and you could tell that he is a fan of Ghostbusters, the original. He really did try to do his own thing, but my flaw with his directing, my biggest flaw, is that when he tries to pay homage to it, he does it way too much. And I don't know how you feel about this, but to me, he tried to do it way too much. But like I said, when he does his own thing, when it tries to be separate from the original, it's great. So what did you think of his direction?
I thought that it was sufficient. You know, it could have been better in some senses.
Yes.
But I'll definitely say the biggest, agree with him, the biggest thing about this movie, it is not boring. Right? That's the biggest thing. It's quick and quippy. It's like...
Yes, yeah, that awesome snap that he does, and I still don't get how he does that. Like, that's amazing.
It's like, it's really quick. Like, either A, it'll get you laughing and be like cringing, depending on what it is. And again, you know, for a PG-13 comedy, it's actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. It's not a crappy one.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like, that's the thing. Like, some people have been complaining that maybe this movie should have been rated R because all Paul Feig's other comedies are rated R. I would have been fine with an R-rated Ghostbusters movie, but it's understandable why they didn't do it because it wouldn't make sense if they did an R-rated Ghostbusters movie. Yeah, they can't do that. So I think it was best to go for a PG-13 movie.
I will say that, like, with the you know, plugging, let's just say, you know, if you know what I mean by that, with the whole homage stuff.
Yes.
I would say that some of it worked and some of it was unnecessary.
Yes. Yeah. Some of it was really unnecessary. And I know this might be early to say about this thing. The new song for the movie is fucking horseshit. This new song fucking sucks.
I mean, I like Fall Out Boy too.
I like Fall Out Boy as well, but it fucking sucks.
Hey, if you get the instrumental version though, it's pretty good.
Yeah, but why not just? Someone was like, "Why don't you use the Ray Parker original?" Well, the thing is, if you use that I feel like that wouldn't work.
I mean, you could remix
so if they
it.
wanted to redo it, then that's fine. But I don't know. It's not the film's fault. It's Sony's fault. Sony's the one that's in charge of this
They
music.
could have remixed it, maybe, like on the remix.
I forgot I have my movie tickets still for the Hunt for the Wilder People.
Hunt for the Wilder People, aka
which, by the way, was fucking awesome. That movie was fucking awesome. I tell you that right now. That movie was awesome.
Literally, like, he told me about it. I never heard of that movie.
Well, now you should go see it without watching a trailer, without knowing what the movie's about. Don't watch my review. Don't watch my review.
So what is
if you want to skip to the end of my review, that's fine.
The only information I know about the movie has Sam Neill in it.
That's all you need to know, is that it has Sam Neill and it's from the guy who made What We Do in the Shadows and the upcoming Thor Ragnarok. That's all you need to know.
I haven't seen What We Do in the Shadows.
You don't have to watch What We Do in the Shadows. You might like it.
It reminds me,
it's your kind of movie.
It kind of reminds me like a little bit of that Dark Shadows movie.
Yeah, but this one's
it's actually
better.
Good. All right.
It's a mockumentary on vampires.
Oh, that sounds a lot like.
It's like The Office meets vampires.
It's like Dark Shadows interviewed the vampire.
No, it's basically Dark Shadows meets The Office. It's
cool.
fantastic.
That's interesting, actually. They should make that to a TV show.
Yeah, they really should. But yeah, moving on to the writing. Like I said, when Paul Feig's dialogue hits, it hits. The dialogue, for the most part, is really sharp. I thought the dialogue was really quick and witty. It worked out very well. Of course, there were some minor issues with the dialogue I had, but Katie DePaul, and I'm not just saying this just because I met her, but she really is a talented writer. If you watch any of the episodes of Parks and Rec that she writes, she does a really good job. And when she wrote The Heat, she did a really good job. And right now, she's working on an adventure comedy with Amy Schumer and Goldie fucking Hawn.
Spoiler!
Goldie Hawn! Where the fuck has Goldie Hawn been? I don't know. But she's coming back and she's going to be in the movie with Amy fucking
Lost
Schumer.
in the Rainforest.
Yeah, apparently it's going to be an adventure comedy. I cannot wait for it. I'm really excited.
Movie as well.
That's why I said it's going to be an adventure comedy.
I swear to God, they better make fun of like the Revenant in some way with that. That'd be funny.
Yeah, that'd be clever. But the writing, I liked it. I liked the writing. I didn't love the writing, but I liked it.
Like, the writing is kind of always like hit and miss, but it was good. Like, the character dialogue was interesting. It wasn't boring.
Yes.
You know, all of the lines when they were funny were great.
Yes.
The story made, you know, sense. It wasn't fucking crazy.
It's the same story.
It's the same story. It's just it made sense though. At least it wasn't all over.
It's the same story with new takes to it. Like it's not like different plots.
Especially when we get to the villain, I want to bring that up.
Oh, I cannot wait to talk about the villain.
But
you should probably move over.
I do will say though that again, I think together they did a good job writing it, but it could have been better.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially though when we heard about how long it was originally the script.
Oh yeah. There were some interesting questions at the Q&A. I think the Q&A's on the Academy's YouTube page.
You should watch.
I actually should look that up right now, which I'm gonna do that right now. So like,
Academy, please don't sue him.
I don't know why they would sue me. I mean, they wouldn't.
You showed an interview.
I'd be like, but
triggered.
I'd be like, but brother, it's.
I'm sorry, but this week is like the week of triggering. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they didn't upload it yet, so yeah, your people are gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to wait a while.
Hopefully they do.
No, they're gonna release it, I think, soon. So I mean,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, the writing was sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot about this movie. It's sufficient.
Yes, and you could tell, like when Katie DePaul was on stage talking about this, she really was passionate. She at first was questioning the idea of this, but she was really looking forward to being a part of it. And she, like Paul Feig, did not really want to do a full-on like remake. They wanted to do something different, like a remake,
their own movie,
their own movie. And we'll get to like some of the stuff later. Moving on to the editing, personally, I didn't think this film had to be the length it was. I think it could have been 10 to 15 minutes short. But like we said earlier, I wasn't bored with it. But like, I don't think it had to be too long. I think the movie was almost 2 hours long. And I've said this before. I don't like it whenever comedies are like more than at least 100 minutes. And I think the first one was like 98 minutes long. So I mean, like, this one didn't have to be the length it was. I don't know how you feel about this, but I didn't think the movie had to be that around the time it was.
I liked the beginning. It was good. You know, the first third.
Yes.
Good. I feel like the middle was a little too long.
Mm-hmm.
Certain scenes.
I have to disagree. I thought the ending was a little too long.
I actually liked the ending.
I liked the ending too, but I thought it was a little too long.
I mean, to be honest, that's why I thought it was actually. That's when it went quicker for me. Actually,
it kind of reminded me of the ending from what was the one movie where it had like a 50-minute ending?
Fucking Star Wars Episode 3.
Yeah, kind of like that. Shit. Oh man, I'm really blanking.
Was it recent?
It's a big blockbuster movie. It might be like a superhero movie. Like
maybe
the Avengers?
Maybe the Avengers 2.
Probably the Avengers with the lawn,
No,
fight.
2 wasn't that bad.
No, I'm not talking about Age of Ultron. I'm talking about
the original.
Avengers.
Oh.
The Avengers. I love the original Avengers, but I mean, whatever.
That Avenger's great, though, still.
Yes. But yeah. Visually, the visuals looked very crappy from the trailers, but to be quite honest, they actually looked good, and the 3D was great.
Wasn't good.
Dolby 3D is fucking awesome. If you guys have any AMC Primes near you, and they're playing the movie in Dolby Cinema 3D, go to a Dolby Cinema. I've never experienced Dolby Cinema in my life.
Neither of us.
Yeah, me and him have never experienced it.
Shane apparently has before.
Who knows with him? Like, Shane's been all over the fucking country, so I mean, like, he's been more places all over the country than us. So I mean, like, yeah. And, yeah, Dolby 3D is fucking awesome. In New York City, I believe they have a Dolby Cinema at the Empire 25, which is on 42nd Street. And, I only went there for a screen. That's where I saw Everybody Wants Some for my screen. And, I'm hoping to go there one day. Just one day. Like, any day in AMC Prime. It could be Star Trek, Jason Bourne, Suicide Squad.
Revenant 2.
Revenant Part 2. Whatever.
The Bear Returns.
Yeah, The Bear Returns.
Yeah.
The Baroner radar starts fighting. But yeah, visually, it was pretty darn great most of the time. There were a few moments where the CGI looked pretty blah, but for the most part, it looked very good. And there was a cool sequence involving an older character. People were like, oh, does Stay Puft look bad? I'm not going to spoil anything, but Stay Puft actually doesn't look too bad. Because in the trailer, they make you think that character is Stay Puft, and yet that wasn't Stay Puft. So Sony was kind of clever hiding that.
Let's just say it's a callback to the animated series.
Yes. Yeah, I'll say that right now. But yeah, visually, for the most part, pretty good. And if you do like 3D, I would say go see this movie in 3D. I highly like IMAX 3D, to be exact.
It's pretty damn good looking. Like, yeah, the CGI wasn't needed, some of it. No. But it looks pretty good for what they used. I mean,
some of the ghosts looked good. Some of them, only one of them looked great, in my opinion. And some of the other stuff looked bleh. But for the most part, like the stuff in the train, like when Leslie Jones' character is on the ground and you see the ghost, that looked good.
That was freaky.
That ghost in the museum, the one that, unfortunately, spoiled in the trailer, spits on a character. And it's actually pretty, like, it was really loud. Like, first of all, I was just like this watching the movie, then all of a sudden it was like, I'm like, oh shit.
I wake up.
Like, I like yell. I didn't want to yell because there were kids in our theater. Not too many, though.
No, the guy.
I thought Matt would be like, what? Like I thought Matt would be after the ghost on one of the characters. I thought Matt would be like, what? But yeah, visually good. But you said someone else. Like, continue. Or did you have anything else to say about the visuals?
Everything looked really good for even though it was unnecessary. Some of it.
I would have loved to see more practicality to it. But
I mean, it's Sony.
But I mean, with the day and age that we live in, it's
plus it's Sony. So.
Yep, that's the sad thing. It is Sony.
But at least, hey, it didn't look terrible.
That's true. So cinematography-wise, it didn't look bad.
No,
looked good.
Get the characters, I guess.
Do we have anything else to talk about?
I mean, we could bring up that the movie was actually scarier than we thought it was going to be.
There were a few moments that did legitimately creep me out.
Yeah, and I like
there were, and I mean, should we talk about the acting or characters, or should we incorporate them into one?
Both. It's kind of important too.
Separate or
well, we how about this? We talk about it separate, but we talk about it at the same time.
You know? All right, so technically, we're moving on to the acting. The last thing we're going to be talking about is the acting.
Yes.
So let's start with the women, and we'll go by them separately.
Fucking hate.
I like Kristen Wiig a lot. I really do. I think she's a very talented comedic actress, and I like her drama. When I found out that she was going to be in The Martian, I'm like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? And everyone else, they all could do drama. Like, they listened to the guy, remember, they said Matt Damon. I'm like, he could do drama. Jeff Daniels, he could do drama. Jessica Chastain, she could do drama. Kristen Wiig, what? Since when? And that was before I saw the Skeleton Twins, and I'm like, okay.
I still want
to see them. All right. I'm sold. Okay. All right. And she did do some good dramatic stuff in Bridesmaids, so I'll be like, okay, that's fine, I guess. And I liked Kristen Wiig. I liked her character. There were some interesting layers to her character, but she wasn't my favorite Ghostbuster. We'll get to the best Ghostbuster. I think we'll both agree on the same one later on.
Well, we're around the same area.
Yeah, but yes, Kristen Wiig, good job. What did you think of Kristen Wiig?
I thought that as her acting, she did really good. She played a really convincing, down-to-earth, person.
Yes.
She wasn't...
And you feel for her character because she's this professor at Columbia. She really loves her job. Her boss is Tywin Lannister from fucking Game of Thrones, which I don't get. Why is this guy appearing in every fucking movie? Well, every goddamn movie this guy's in. This guy was in Me Before You, and now he's in this. Like, what the fuck is going on? I don't get it. Yeah, Littlefinger. If Littlefinger was in here, I would have been like, could someone shoot him, please?
So that'd be funny if that was like her intern. Oh, fuck. That'd be funny.
No, it would have been funny if Tyrion Lannister was... Actually, no, that wouldn't have been funny, to be quite honest. But yeah, continue your thoughts on Kristen Wiig.
As her, like herself, as acting, the
yes,
drama,
the acting was good.
She was really good.
But her character...
I found like her character, like, she is, again, her and then when we bring up Liz McCarthy, they're both like the straight characters, they're like the down-to-earth regular people. Well, Liz McCarthy maybe a little bit more conspiracy theorist person, but,
A lot of people were saying that their characters are kind of underdeveloped, which is a problem that a lot of people are saying about these characters.
I found that her character, I mean, they had a lot of things too, background. It's just that they could have expanded on some of it. Like, there's a certain scene that's really kind of like...
Yeah, when she talks about someone from her past... Is that the scene you're talking about?
I think, yeah, the one where there's a very... she's talking about a past thing that happened. It was like a complete tonal switch that worked, but it wasn't like that long. They could have added more of that, but there was still a very funny line that she brought up that made me laugh, that involved Andy Garcia, and it was still, I think, my favorite line in the movie. Which, you know what line that is?
Yes. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Melissa McCarthy, like I said before, she's generally good with Paul Feig. I liked her in the movie. I think she was good. Her character... Well, actually, we should probably name all these characters, like...
Abby.
This is Abby. Kristen Wiig is Erin, but we'll call her Gilbert, because that's her last name. And,
Holtzman
Holtzman and Patty.
Yeah.
Abby was a fine character, but there was some stuff, like, with Gilbert that could have been a little more developed with her. But Melissa McCarthy gave a good performance. Yeah, because she's generally good when it comes to Paul Feig.
Because unlike, the original Ghostbusters, how these were like colleagues.
Yes.
In the original, in this, it's kind of like, Holtzman's like kind of Abby's colleague.
Yeah.
But, Gilbert and Abby are like friends.
Yes.
So and it's more interesting that they didn't go for the whole they're all colleagues type of approach.
Yeah.
But I do think though she is the bit most surprising in the movie because again we were expecting her to be wacky, crazy.
I didn't because I knew when she's with Paul Feig, she generally does very good.
No, but you know what I mean though. Like we were expecting her to be more like in the heat and Bryson Zilla, like be like a little bit more loud and wacky. Hey. But then she was.
The trailers really didn't show her being that, though.
But we didn't know. Because, But basically, my point is, she wasn't Melissa McCarthy, as we usually see.
Yeah.
And even in Paul Feig movies.
Yes.
She was very down-to-earth. I mean, honestly, her and, again, Aaron were the least funniest.
Yeah, they were the straight ones.
They were the straight people.
She
was more like the tinfoil hat straight people, but she's probably the most likable tinfoil hat person ever.
Yeah, and then Kate McKinnon, Holtzman, she was my personal favorite. I know a lot of people saying she felt too cartoony. I understand that, but I was entertained by her character, and I don't know why. Maybe if I went back and watched this movie, maybe my opinions would change. I am curious to see this movie again. I don't think I'll see it again in the theater. Maybe when it comes out on cable, I'll check it out again. But I really enjoyed Holtzman. Kate McKinnon, like I said, she's a very funny woman, and I thought she did a good job in this movie. Her character was cartoony, and there were some confusion. I'm like, wait a minute, how did you invent that within 5 minutes? I don't know how that's possible. But then again, it is just a movie. They don't always have to go. And it is a comedy. It's a comedy movie. It's not a drama, historical drama type of movie. So it's not based on real events. So
it's not based on the real Ghostbusters. So
I liked Kate McKinnon.
I loved her because she was so different. Her character from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. I mean, Leslie Jones was different too, but when you compared everybody, she was the most she was freaking pretty much Egon on crack. All right, she was Egon on crack.
No, not on crack. I would say cocaine.
Maybe
I would say cocaine.
But basically,
crack makes you go.
Because she
cocaine
had,
makes you go. Whoa!
She had the witty, some of the wittiness of Egon in her.
Yes,
but she was more out about it.
I think she
wasn't subtle. Yeah, I'm Egon.
Yes.
And I actually personally, even from the trailers, I already knew she's gonna be my favorite character because she's just so. I like the weird and crazy characters that are badasses, especially the one action scene.
Oh yeah. The one action sequence of her that was fucking
amazing.
Awesome. Our audience was cheering. Our audience cheered a lot.
We had a good audience.
So they weren't talking. Mm-hmm. They were laughing. They were definitely enjoying the movie. I was worried that someone was just going to be talking, and I'm like, thank God no one was talking. Probably because there were two big fucking security guards on both sides of the door.
If you film anything,
if you film anything, then you're fucking out.
No, the guy who thought was cool from the Academy. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, that guy was chill as fuck. And lastly, Leslie Jones. Leslie Jones was hilarious as Patty. She yells a lot. I don't care. There were so many sequences with her in the trailer that just didn't make me laugh because of the way they were editing the trailers. The way they were editing the movie, though, worked very well. And she was hilarious. When she slapped something, it was so fucking loud, I couldn't even believe it. I felt the slap. It echoed. I'm like, ow! I felt like Shane slapped me. Mm-hmm. I just felt it. I'm like, ow! But hey, I liked her, and I liked her character. And the stuff going on with her, where they say, I'm gonna borrow a car from my uncle, and then Matt's favorite line comes out.
It's a Cadillac!
Like that, and then the uncle...
We'll
talk about the cameos in just a bit. We're not going to spoil who they are.
We want so bad. But...
I know, but we can't. There are probably people out there listening to this show right now who actually are interested in seeing this movie.
Again, Leslie Jones, good job. There are good cameos, and then there's just shameless cameos.
So talk about Leslie Jones.
Leslie Jones, you see, I've heard, I've watched more material with Kate McKinnon than her.
Yes.
But... from the trailers, I think the problem was with her, it's from the trailers, they try to play on her being loud and obnoxious, so it made her really annoying.
Yeah.
She's funny. I'm going to say, they're the two best of the main Ghostbusters.
Absolutely.
Right? Kate McKinnon and her. They don't play off each other a lot, but when they do, it's hey? Because it's great.
Yeah.
It's really great, because they're, completely different from Abby and whatever. And... there was a great scene. There's just some great scenes in there. They're so funny.
I agree. So, wait, who was your favorite? Holtzman was your favorite one?
I would say just because of her wackiness.
That was my favorite too. She was my favorite too.
I mean, we're not counting Chris Hemsworth.
Well, let's talk about Chris Hemsworth. Yes. Chris Hemsworth plays Kevin. He's the receptionist who is dumb as
Kevin
fuck.
the Cucumber.
Yeah, Kevin the Cucumber, who is incredibly so cucumbery. He is so stupid. But I liked Chris Hemsworth in the movie. Chris Hemsworth is really funny. Like, he's very funny as Thor. I didn't see Vacation, but everyone said that he was the standout of that movie. And here, I thought he was very, very funny, but they went a little too far sometimes with the stupidity of his character.
I do agree.
But I liked his performance.
I mean, like, Kate McKinnon's like, okay, it's stretching it, but when you you're just like, fucking Jesus, hey?
I know. For a second, there were times when I'm just like, really?
Later on, I
was like, really?
I kind of hated how they played on it later on more, but I do think, though, but Chris Hemsworth, I fucking bought him as an idiot, all right? I'll admit this. Chris Hemsworth himself. And he also, again, we should say this because you kind of won't know this in the movie, but since we heard the screenwriter talk about this, we can say this. There's a certain scene that happens and it's improv.
Yeah. By the way, stay for the credits. Stay entirely for the credits. There is an after credits scene, so just be warned. Some people have accidentally left there. Some people who even like the movie said, "Wait, there was an after credits scene." Well, technically,
there's a mid and an after.
Yes, that's the thing. So stay for the entire credits and then watch. Yeah. The stuff.
But like she was, it was funny though. Like he was still funny.
Yeah.
It's just that it started getting repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
His comedy, but though I will say. You wanted to punch this guy in the face because how much of an idiot he is.
Yes.
But at the same time, you want to be like, I feel bad for you because you're challenged.
Yeah. All right. Before we get to the cameos, I want to talk about the villain. I personally hated the villain. Mm-hmm. The villain was one of my biggest flaws with the entire movie. I hated the villain. I hated the actor that played him. I didn't like the character. I didn't like his motives. I did not like the villain. So when the villain left the screen, I'm like, bye, Felicia. His name is not Felicia. People are like, why do you always say Felicia? Because I could say it. Okay? Bye, Felicia is a great trademark. Okay? Mm-hmm. Don't mock me. Bye, Felicia. Straight out Compton. Bye, Felicia.
Well, alright. I have an interesting kind of viewpoint with the villain. You see, I do agree, he was an emo little bitch. Hey?
It's not that. It's just I thought his performance was absolute shit.
Yeah, even though I've heard the actor is very funny and stuff.
I don't even know who that actor is.
I mean, I've kind of
I didn't really look into this actor because I'm like, I
didn't really look into him. I just kind of heard certain things from other people.
Okay.
And here's what I'll say about the villain. In concept, I was like, that's interesting because they kind of did a villain that this is kind of new.
Yeah, because there wasn't a villain in the original.
Well,
there was. Yeah, but that wasn't a human villain.
No,
the EPA guy doesn't really count as the villain.
You mean dickless?
Yes, sir. This man has no dick.
But I like the concept and idea of the villain because I'm like, it's actually a human this time compared to it's always a ghost or a demon. But the execution just wasn't right. They didn't give us enough backstory on him. They just threw him in there in the movie. And we're like, who the fuck is this weird guy talking about biblical lines? And then he just kept popping up. And it wasn't really annoying. It's more of he was just so underdeveloped. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
See, I think the actor did fine. He didn't bother me. He did a good job being creepy. But he just wasn't, there was no, heart to that character.
Yeah.
There was no... anything behind him. All we know is just some crazy dude spitting biblical lines and shit, eh?
Yeah. And then let's quickly run through the cameos. We'll just say this right now. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. Mm-hmm. They did... I didn't notice, actually, until after I thought about it. There was a Harold Ramis cameo, which I didn't notice.
I don't know either, so you have to tell me later.
It was, somewhere... on a billboard or a bus or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what someone told me. And I'm like, wait, what?
That's interesting. That's a more subtle.
Honestly, the thing is, I wasn't paying attention to that. I wasn't paying attention to what was in the side, in the background and stuff.
It was probably at that.
I'll probably find it online in a few days. So if someone
finds a picture of it, could you send it to me, please? I appreciate it. Because, like I said, I don't know if I'll see this movie again until it comes out on DVD. I guess we could just quickly run down the stuff. Bill Murray's cameo was okay. Ernie Hansen's cameo was hilarious. Annie Potts' cameo was pretty nice. Sigourney Weaver's cameo was okay. Dan Aykroyd's cameo sucks.
I like that one still.
I didn't like it. I thought it was very
It's just
rushed.
what he says.
Yeah, but I thought that it would be a little better.
I mean, I would have been
but
more...
run down them quickly before you get to Dan Aykroyd.
And again, because when we talk about the Dan Aykroyd, well, we're going to talk about that one later, hey?
Yeah, but just go to...
I love the idea what they did with Bill Murray, because some people saw it as a slap in the face. I didn't. You know, I kind of like that they... Because, let's just say they do like...
His role is kind of bigger in the film than I thought it would be.
Let's just say they do, like...
It's bigger than his cameo in Zombieland. I can tell you that right now. Or it probably is the same runtime as his cameo in Zombieland. By the way, it's still one of the greatest cameos in any film I've ever seen.
The best way to describe his cameo in this movie...
Without spoiling
it, it's just the best, like, the quickest way to say it. It's kind of like a 180 of his character.
Yes.
And I like that, because I like it.
Complete 180 of it.
I love when they do that, you know, when they take a character and then change him like that. I laugh.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yes, this is his own movie. I'm not, because originally when I went in, I was like, I'm not gonna freaking compare it to the original.
I'm not comparing it to the original.
So either. I'm not gonna say this is a slap in the face.
Yes.
But some people were offended by that cameo.
No, people were just offended by this movie. Yeah. Period.
They got triggered. Again,
I don't want to spread any controversy because I got a lot of dislikes on my review. So I mean, I don't want to even start
the week of triggering.
Weekend update with Seth Meyers.
Seriously.
Good evening, I'm Seth Meyers. Here's tonight's top stories. Brian Sutfield, a young ginger from New Jersey, uploaded his review of Ghostbusters. It seems to be more disliked than the trailer.
People got triggered.
And people got triggered. And they does that straight face he does. He just, and they got triggered.
Every day
hold on.
I've seen at least one person get triggered by something.
Say it again where he's like, and it got triggered.
And it got triggered.
Wait, wow, crap, I picked the wrong thing. Again.
Got triggered.
The end.
Nah, but like, literally this week, I feel like every day somebody's been triggered by this movie or something else.
I know, and for the people who actually seen it, thank God they've given their honest opinions. Yes. Thank God, just thank God. Okay,
but
what about Ernie Hudson's cameo?
I love that one.
That one was really funny.
That one was good. He's like related to. Let's just say it's great.
Yes. And Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver was like, okay.
Yeah, hers was like okay. Annie Potts.
Annie Potts, I liked. That was just because it was a brief one. It wasn't.
Yeah, and then I hate that Rick Moranis did not make a cameo in the movie.
Yeah, I would have.
I'm really upset.
There was a certain scene we were thinking about he could come into.
I didn't.
Remember?
You could tell me later on, but I really wanted him to make a cameo. I really did.
Like, let's say there's a hotel, and we were thinking maybe he could have been in that.
I thought that, that could have worked, but then
like they hear like all like the commotion, and he just like runs like, "What's going on?"
Yeah,
and then like sees like a ghost, he's like, just close the door.
Yeah, but what about
this one, Dan Aykroyd. Hey, you don't like it, I like it. Hey?
I didn't hate it. I just didn't like the way he said everything.
I just laughed.
I liked the last line he said, but before that, I'm just like.
I just liked how he's basically his character from the original, which you can take that as a grain of salt of saying, oh, the movie's trying to link them or just trying to be its own thing. It's, hey, like it's trying to be something, yet it's a hypocrite. I like that because it kind of made me just laugh because it was just out of nowhere. And I think that's why it worked for me.
Yeah.
It just cab pulls up. And that's it. Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. The reason why also I kind of am more sympathetic towards that cameo is because, again, during the Q&A, the writer said that originally it was supposed to be more expanded their roles, him and Bill Murray's.
Yes.
But they ended up having to cut it down. So I was like, I kind of wish they kept the Dan Aykroyd one more over, a little more in, but
yeah.
It's alright, though. I liked it, though.
Yeah. So overall, going on for this review, I think we've talked about this movie now for like almost.
Well, there's technically more cameos too, but we're not going to talk about those.
Yeah, but the cameos that everyone cares about are the cast for the original. Oh my God, we've been talking about this movie for I think like 40 minutes now.
Well, it's controversial.
I know it's more polarizing, like I said, than Batman v Superman. So overall, Ghostbusters surprising film. I liked it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. If I see it again, would my opinion change? Maybe. I don't know. But I was entertained. I liked the dynamic between the four leads. The sharp dialogue was good, and the visuals were pretty cool. But because of the editing and the one known villain, the movie just wasn't as good as it could have been, in my personal opinion.
Like, and this is an interesting thing, because, I mean, I'm going to be honest here. I already made my opinion a long time ago.
Yes.
But I was, like, really interested. I'm like, I want to see what everyone else thinks. I want to hear this. So I watched a bunch, maybe like 5 to 6 reviews, and literally none of them were the same. It was completely different each review.
Very mixed reception.
Yes. And it's like, it just shows you, because even what I say or he says, you should see this.
It's like, here's the thing. It's meant to be checked out just for curiosity.
Yes.
Because even if I was not excited for this movie, I would still see it. Well, then again, I do see all the big stuff, but I would have seen it just to see if it was anything good or bad or ugly.
I mean, like, I've seen many different angles too of it. I've seen people say, "Oh, it's sexist for these reasons. How dumb the male characters are." I'm like, I can see that. And then I see.
No, I can understand that, but when you judge the movie without seeing it, it's like.
But you know what I mean? Like, everybody that I'm talking about have seen this movie. Though.
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, there's just a lot of things. There's a lot of elements that are very subtle, but some people pick up certain things that others don't, or they have a different opinion on certain things others don't. And I would say definitely that even, regardless of our rating, you should probably see it, because that's our opinion, and it's hard to like, actually make a correct opinion on this movie.
Yes,
because
agreed.
It's not really it's really hard, because there's different things that trigger different people.
Correct.
And I mean, for me, I would say I liked it. I enjoyed it.
All
but
right.
There was issues.
So I gave the movie a B+, and I would still stand by that grade.
I mean, just thinking about the more problems, I would probably just drop it down to a B. But still good though.
All right. All right. So that's it with our review for Ghostbusters. Sorry that it was really long, but it was worth talking about. So now we get to the box office results. Matt, what is the box office results?
It's probably going to go
weekend?
horribly. I have to remember all the movies again, because all I've been thinking is about Ghostbusters this entire week. And I know that definitely made the top 5. I don't know if it made number 1, but
That's why you gotta guess.
All right. I would say that number 5 is Mike and Dave.
Okay.
4, Tarzan.
Okay.
3, Finding Dory. 2's Ghostbusters.
Okay.
And 1, Secret Life of Pets.
All right, you got 3 out of 5 right. Number 5, Mike and Dave Need Wednesdays with $7.5 million. Domestically 31. The budget's 33 and worldwide 38.
You want to see a comedy?
Good luck.
All I gotta say is, if you don't want to see Ghostbusters, go see that.
Number 4 and number 3. Once again, going back and forth. Number 4, Finding Dory with $11 million. And number 3, Legend of Tarzan with $11.1 million. I don't get why everyone's going to see this. Tarzan. I don't get it. Listen, I didn't hate Tarzan, but it was not a good movie. I don't think it was that good. I'm sorry. Finding Dory was the better movie, and I know everyone has probably already seen Finding Dory by now, but okay, so Finding Dory's doing very well.
It's a great movie.
Finding Dory's doing very well.
This is a good year for
domestically 445 and worldwide 721. It's doing very good.
It's a good year for Disney.
Now with Tarzan, domestically 103, budget is 180 and worldwide 193. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. Number 2 is Ghostbusters with 46 million. Domestically 46. The budget is 144, which is a lot of money. That's a lot of money for this movie. And worldwide right now it has 65 million. Did you hear it got banned from China?
Fucking really? Why?
I don't fucking know.
Is it because it's all females?
I don't know, and I don't care.
Triggered. No.
And number 1 for the second week in a row is The Secret Life of Pets with 50.5 million. The budget is 75 million, domestically 203, and worldwide 253.
When will your kids learn the movie's not funny? Just kidding.
Well, it's a movie that's meant for kids, Sally.
I swear to God, I hope that Illuminations. I hope Sing is not like that. I hope it's not.
Sing looks. That new trailer that came out for Sing.
The problem I have with Sing is they're really putting a lot of shit in their trailers.
I know.
That's what I'm kind of worried.
I don't even remember what they showed in the trailers, to be quite honest. The only thing I remember was when Matthew McConaughey is just like this. My fear's going through some radioactive times lately, so I'm going to start a singing competition. All I remember
from that
is Taron Egerton.
Taron Egerton singing. That's it.
Yes, singing beautifully. Okay, guys, so that is it for Nerdy Scores, the film podcast, episode 47. Thank you so much for listening. Next week on episode 48, Star Trek Beyond comes out. We will be seeing that. We will be seeing that on Thursday night. Now, I want to ask you one question, and you don't have to give me a specific answer.
Yeah.
Do you want to see the movie in IMAX 3D or just in regular?
I don't care, honestly.
You don't care?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I might talk with Shane about it. We are not going to Linden. We are not going to Linden. We are going to New Brunswick.
Nice.
We are going to New Brunswick because I got my tickets for Suicide Squad in IMAX 3D, and that's where we're going to see it. He's going to see it with his family. I'm going to see it with my girl.
Yeah, like,
so, like,
because I'm going, because, again, like, because it was a rough thing. Cause
my friend that's a girl,
should we just admit this, like, it was a rough thing because, literally, like, I was like, okay, there's only 2 big movies coming up after Star Trek. Jason Bourne and Suicide Squad. So
yes.
I'm like, okay, so one of them I got to see with Kurt, one of them I got to see with Bryan.
Kurt is his cousin.
Yes. And I'm like, okay, since a lot of the group is going to see Suicide Squad, that, you know, by now,
yes.
I'm like, I'll go see it with Suicide Squad with them, and then I'll go see Jason Bourne with you because you love Jason Bourne.
Yes, because Jason Bourne is the greatest fucking human being in the history of mankind. And I cannot believe that movie comes out in 12 days. I cannot believe that movie comes out in 12 fucking days.
And every time you see the trailer with the epic shuddering on it,
yeah, no. That's the Jason Bourne theme, you
makes
know?
your freaking
That's
back
fucking,
like tingle.
And you better watch the 3 before we go see the movie.
I need to watch the 3 or else I can't watch the 4th one.
Well, that's not entirely true.
Well, like, the fuck is going on here?
You'll get confused, and I'll be like, okay, so here's what happens. This happened, this happened.
It's called that.
And then people are like, shut the fuck up. And I'm like, yo, shut the fuck up. This is my life.
This is my movie.
This is my life.
He's my husbando. Stop it.
And then you say, he says husbando. And I'm like, what?
Husbando.
I'm like, what the fuck? Shut the fuck up, man.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay, so yeah, guys, and we'll probably see Lights Out. I want to see Lights Out. I want to see Lights Out.
I'm interested.
Fuck Ice Age. Fuck Ice Age. If your sister drags you to that, I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna see it. I'm not. I know my sister's trying to get my mom to go see Ghostbusters. I'm like, finally, you can actually go see it for yourself. I'm like,
oh, I thought you were about to say your sister's dragging your mom to go see Ice Age.
No, I would have, no, fucking, she would put up with it, but still, she'd be like, ugh. Hey.
Yeah, I feel bad for your mother if she has to go sit through Ice Age. So, you guys, that's the end of the Nerd Scores.
Oh, that's right. We have to say a shout out to the freaking. One thing we have to say this. If nobody noticed in Ghostbusters, freaking dude from Deadpool's in it. The freaking cab driver.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. And Jared from Silicon Valley. So, yeah, guys, that's the end of this episode of Nerd Scores. Stop interrupting! Stop ending my. Stop ruining my ending monologue.
You're gonna die in there.
I probably will. So, hey guys, that's the end of Nerd Schools Film Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's at BryanSense98. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, BryanSense98. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please like us on iTunes and Spreaker. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you guys next week for episode 48, Star Trek Beyond, and maybe Lights Out, but definitely Star Trek Beyond. Peace out, guys. Adios. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.